GoToWhitney.com.
I'm Heather French Henry, Miss America 2000, and I'm so excited to be at the Claridge Hotel here in Atlantic City. Once again, I always like coming back home to my second home away from home. I always like to get into pageant week really early. So I get in on Monday. I have time to take in the outlet shops and go shopping, to lay by poolside, to go down to the beach. Today we did a fantastic cruise with AC Cruises around the harbor. It was a champagne cruise, a little mimosa going on. I have to tell you, they treat us like royalty when we come back here to Atlantic City. You guys do it like no one else. You know, Miss America has always been reflective of society. So from the very beginning, from a swimsuit competition, then we added evening gown, and then you add talent. And then in the late 80s, we added the platform issue, which of course was my favorite because that really has become my life's mission, working with veterans. And that all really started as Miss America. So I will say that I think we're very reflective of society. We're very sensitive to that. And society in general, we're going through a very big flux, I think, of the ebbs and flows of tradition versus being progressive. So I'm very interested to see what the future holds for Miss America. Our class of 2019 are some of the strongest contestants I think I've ever seen. But of course, I have two daughters who are 15 and 17. These are different generations. They're growing up more socially aware, they understand social media, and they're not afraid to really speak their mind. So I think it's very exciting to see how they look at the role of Miss America for the future. I would just love to say to the people of Atlantic City that the Miss Americas, we love Atlantic City. We love the people of Atlantic City. I mean, even from servers at restaurants to our jitney drivers who get us everywhere we need to go. They really appreciate us being here, but even more so, we appreciate them loving us coming back.
I'm Vonda Van Dyke, Miss America 1965. I remember so well when I won here in Atlantic City. People were so great. And every time I come back, they're so friendly and fun and welcoming. And we have just had we always have a wonderful, wonderful time when we're here. And I'm happy about the swimsuit because I think it really, the swimsuits have gotten smaller and smaller. And I liked it when they had the one-piece suits. And now that it's really become a major scholarship pageant, I like having it really focus on the beauty of the inside as well as the beauty on the outside. And we don't need to see a swimsuit to see that kind of beauty.
I'm in accordance with her. That's because when I entered the pageant, I had a swimsuit that was cotton. I don't know how I got it. I think someone at the Miss California pageant got it for me very late, and it was so uncomfortable to wear. It wasn't a bikini. It was a full thing, but it was cotton, and I said, thank heavens. Bud Westmore was a famous makeup man, and he was one of the judges at the Miss California pageant, and he said, Lee, we're going to get you a good swimsuit. So I think I was one of the first people to have Marie Deweese design a swimsuit, and it was all one piece. And it was wonderful, and so that's but I loved it. I loved it.
Well, my daughter came up with an analogy. She said if you walked up to a beautiful girl on the beach and she was wearing a gorgeous bikini, and you said, would you like to put on high heels and walk in front of millions of people? She'd say, oh my gosh, no. Well, if you were offered to win a $75,000 scholarship, would you? Maybe. So it just has nothing to do with what the pageant has evolved to at this point. And I'm excited about finding out the inner outer beauty and not always judging on a figure.
Yeah, for me, it was the scholarship that they offered. That was wonderful because I was able to complete my education with it. and I was able to work at the same time. And I got a couple of jobs, and I got a couple of movies, and a couple of television shows.
And a lot of TV. Barnaby Jones.
Oh yes, I was lucky. I was very lucky, but it was a wonderful opportunity for me. I never expected to win. My sorority in my college, when I won first night swimsuit, the next day my sorority sent a wire to me, which was delivered. Nobody saw it, but I saw it, and it said, "You won swimsuit?" I thought they checked you for falsies. And I said,
I'll watch it. This is a G-rated program here.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. But I was so embarrassed. No, I didn't. And I sent him. I said, "You're just all so jealous."
One of the things that set us apart in a pageant is that it's talent, and talent is moved back up to 50%. And it was 50% in our day. And I think that's important because not only is it a springboard for a career, but it shows a lot of personality and what you've really worked hard to do.
Okay, what I love about Atlantic City is I can remember back in the day when the beautiful women of Atlantic City and the men, but especially their wives, the women who were our chaperones and traveling companions. Excuse me, I am getting emotional because they took such wonderful care of us. And it's like, here you are, an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old, is my case. I had just taken a leave of absence from the Rockettes. I'd been a Rockette for 7 months. And now I'm coming to Atlantic City after just 5 or 6 weeks of having been Miss North Carolina. And it can be intimidating, you know. You're wide-eyed. You're going to a place that you've never been before, but the women bring us in with their warmth and their love and their support, and they let us know that they're here for us, so we can relax. And that's the way that I remember Atlantic City. There are lots of good changes. I loved seeing how tight the show was the last couple of nights. I miss swimsuit. I'm thinking swimsuit could have been tweaked in that it could have been a one-piece swimsuit and a little more modesty. The girls were uncomfortable over. Those of us who were in the audience were uncomfortable watching the bikini-clad ladies. They were revealing too much. Miss America pageant years ago and through the years never started out to be a girly show. And I felt like, that it had become that. However, that being said, I feel like we could have taken the changes more slowly. A lot of us feel like they were jammed down our throats. Here I am speaking my truth. A lot of people aren't going to agree with me, but this is from my decades later, and I was blessed with a $10,000 scholarship that took me through 5 years at Vanderbilt University, with almost 9 months of those years at Aix-en-Provence, France, as a student, and paid for all of my tuition and where I lived, all my textbooks, all of that. And yet that would be able to cover about an inch of what is required for a scholarship now. So those credentials have fallen way back. When I say credentials, those needs are still there, but the scholarships have not been as strong. But the girls, the last 2 nights, the contestants, candidates, whatever we're calling them in this pageant competition, they are talented. I swelled with pride. My heart was so filled with pride at seeing the talent, the brilliant talent, And the way the young women spoke, they were authentic, they spoke, and it was beautifully presented on stage, and yet there was still a part of me when it was over, it seemed like it was abruptly over, and I missed.
Yeah, you're like, I wish it was back.
You know what I miss seeing as a former dancer? I miss seeing the beautiful long legs coming down the runway, and those beautiful toned bodies could have been in a one-piece swimsuit. But I'm outspoken, Whitney, and people are not comfortable with women who are outspoken. But I feel like I've earned the right at this age.
My name's Nicole Johnson. I was Miss America 1999, and it's exciting to be back in Atlantic City. It's 20 years since I won. I think that what it would be the greatest thing for Miss America is to get back to a point where we're letting young women decide what they speak out about, what they stand for, what cause they want to represent, and then set them free to go and do that across the nation. That's how it was 20 years ago when I represented diabetes as Miss America. I've continued working in diabetes for 20 years professionally. It all started back here in Atlantic City with that moment. So to be able to give young women that kind of experience again, that is what would be the icing on the cake for me. Doesn't really matter to me. I love tradition, and I do think that we are teeter-tottering a little bit too far on the trying to be new and hip. We've got to realize that some things about tradition are important, but the most important thing to me is that these young women stand for something. I want to know what that is. Oh, I just have been so blessed as a woman to be connected to the Miss America organization and to be allowed to represent people with diabetes now for 20 years nationally. I work for JDRF out of New York as their National Director of Mission, helping families who are coping with life with type 1 diabetes, helping them cope better, helping them live better, and helping them realize that dreams can come true regardless of your circumstances.